All right, welcome back. We are COMP1116. That's Game Programming 3 in the fall 2025 semester at Georgian. And it's week 8, part 2 of our broadcast and recording. And in the last part, what we did was we were able to add in the enhanced input subsystem, and we converted our stuff from blueprint input to C++ input. If I press Control F5, you can see here that we were able to do it. If you were not able to do it, and if you're someone who is here today or you're watching this from home, I showed you the process, okay? But here's what we're going to do today. To push things forward, since I already have this stuff up on DevOps, please download my version that I just made, which has everything included, okay? And this way, you can move on for your to-do, which is something that you need to do on your own, okay? So please download mine. So mine, again, if you remember, is under repos, ICE 7. I'm not going to continue with this. This is the only thing I'm giving you, but you can start from here if yours wasn't available to make. So this way you're not stopped. Like if somehow the machine in front of you, which is a school machine, wasn't able to do the things that you need to do, please start from here, okay? That's important. And this way, you won't have to be stalled, and you can do the next part, which is a you to do thing, okay? Let's talk about the you to do. I'm not going to do this part. You're going to do it, okay? And I'm going to be here to watch you, okay? So I'm going to go back to the you to do part. So we did all this part together, and that's why I'm offering it to you. I showed you how to do everything, and if yours didn't work somehow because of build issues, no problems. We got all the way to here, okay? The you to do. So this is where we are right now, and this is what I want you to do for today. It's going to be a short video that I'm going to make, okay? First, I want you, now that you have your BP underscore main character and it uses main character C++, right, for moving, you should package and build this as we have done before. Remember that when you package and build this, you need to add an entry into your gitignore, right, which is build and builds. How do I do this? What do I do for adding my entry into my gitignore file? How do I do that? Yeah, but people don't know how to do that, believe it or not. So people are like, what do you mean by that? So in your gitignore file, right click, and then if you go open with, you can use something else, like for example, Notepad, if it comes up. Here it is, Notepad. And then here's your gitignore file, okay? Let me just get rid of these, I don't need these. I don't know why I saved all this stuff, but maybe it was because I was showing you what to do. So what I want to do here is see where it says all these are folders. So it ignores your binaries, your derived data cache, your intermediate, and your saved. This is why we can delete them. It already ignores these things, right? These folders, that's what these are. So you can add in 2 more folders. One of them is build, and the other one is builds. There's also another way to do this where you have square brackets at the end of the S or the beginning of B, right? Lowercase b, uppercase b, whatever you want to do. And it'll accept those 2. But for now, this is good. Just put this in. So save this, and you're good. Why? It's going to ignore the build and the builds folder. You do not want this up on DevOps. This is another gigabyte of stuff on DevOps. You don't need to do that, okay? So now that we've got that, I want you to build your stuff. And that means when you're finished building, you make an executable, then you should be able to launch it here, okay? When you're done, you're going to notice you can't quit. I want you to build your own quit in, your own input, which means I need you to make a new IA quit action in blueprints, okay? I need you to do that. I need you to add your mapping context so that the escape key of IA quit is going to be using, when escape key is going to activate the IA quit action, okay? Save and close all your Unreal editor, and then what I want you to do is add in your quit action and your quit function. There they are. Right? I want you to add them in. We're in the proper places. And then here is your quit. And I want to talk about this a bit because it says you Kismet system library quit game, and I'm passing in a reference to this for the world and player controller for this player controller. And then it's going to say quit preference quit, right? So that's the type of preference it has. And the true value is going to be like, even on platforms that quitting isn't like really viable, like on a mobile, quit anyway. That's what this does, okay? So this is the thing I want you to do. Then rebuild your project again, right? After you've bound the action like this, you have to bind the action in your setup player input component. Recompile, Control F5, make sure it works, and rebuild. And then you should be able to escape from your, from your build. So your build's gonna be full screen this time, and I want your escape button to work. So this is you to do. So if you're stuck and you couldn't make my stuff work, I gave it to you. This is like us doing it together. So I kind of did it with you. And if you attempted it, please don't let this stop you. In-class exercise 7 is a really simple one. Just add an escape key. Make sure it works with the build. Okay. Now, things that you're going to miss if you use you lose some marks if you can't do it yourself. I'm not going to give you full marks for your GitHub if you use my builds. Letting you know, you're going to lose some marks. Okay. So you're not going to get full marks, right? Because all my GitHub stuff is gone, right? You can't do that. If you download it and clone, you can keep my commits, but then you have to clone it properly, right? So the way to keep your marks full, and if you use my build, is instead of downloading the zip, don't do that, clone it. And then repoint your remote to your GitHub repository instead of mine. And if you do that, full marks. Okay, make sense? Because remember, if you clone, you keep all my commits. If you don't clone, all those commits are gone, which means you're going to lose marks. Okay, so I'm going to give you an avenue so you can get full marks if you want to. For those people who don't know what I'm saying, when I say clone, right? Remember that cloning is an option if I go here. So one of them is clone, right? What clone does is it gives you the link, and then instead of you downloading it, you can put git clone in a special folder, and then you'll keep all my stuff. However, you'll also keep my remote. You have to remove my remote, like I've shown you before, and repoint your stuff to mine. Sometimes, my friends, it just won't work, no matter what you do. So take the hit, and at least you have a starting project from that you can work with. Okay, you won't get full marks. You'll lose maybe a mark. So instead of like 6 marks, you'll get 5 if you do everything. But it's not so bad. Okay, that's your project for today. Please make sure you take a look at the requirements for in-class exercise 7. It's due this Friday. That's Halloween night, Blue Jays night, right? This Friday. Don't wait. Tonight, there's no Blue Jay game. Okay, so get her done. This takes you maybe, if you're unlucky, an hour. All right, to get this done, and then you get your 6% of your final grade. Okay, so go to it. I'll stop recording now, and I'm going to go around and help people with the next piece.